it's been a little bit of counterculture when it comes to some of the normal things that we do in consulting. I have not actually been in consulting all of my life. It's what I would call my third chapter in my career. First part of my career, first chapter, was actually retail. So I actually started with a little retail company in the States called Kmart, and that was back in the mid-'80s to mid-'90s, so I'm not going to, probably gonna start figuring out my age now. But mid-'80s to mid-'90s, I started out in field management, and actually worked all the way up into corporate executive roles out of Troy, Michigan, which is where their headquarters were at the time. This is long before the Sears merger and this mess that they're in today. So when I left in '96, they were actually doing pretty well. So my career was field management. Started off in the stores managing them. I had profit and losses, accountability for, on an average, about 10 to 15 million in my operations. So I managed employees, I managed all of the business aspects of running a store and running a business. And then I went into a regional executive role. So I moved out to Denver, Colorado. And in Denver, I had 8 states in which I kind of flew around and managed the operations of a merchandising division, working for the buying offices in Troy, but working in the field with the operations in the field, to drive sales and revenue and profit within those merchandise categories. So that involved working with store managers, working with district managers, working with other regional executives to really move the profit and revenue of the merchandise division that I had. That was kind of the beginning of traveling, so I kind of got into this whole travel phase. During those 2 years that I was in Denver, I was probably on the road 40 out of the 52 weeks, traveling around to different stores and getting to know some very interesting places that I never would have gone to if I hadn't been in that role. So places like Miles City, Montana, which is not spelled the way my name is spelled, but it was interesting to go to Miles City, Montana, out in the middle of nowhere. Scottsbluff, Nebraska. But I also had big cities like Seattle and Portland and Albuquerque, New Mexico. So I had a wide range of places that I visited in those days. Then I went to Troy, Michigan, which is really Detroit. Detroit in those days, not as nice as it is now. Was not the place to be, but in the suburban areas of Oakland County, it was actually pretty nice. So I played a lot of executive roles there. I went right into what we call merchandise planning, which is where you're working with buyers in planning and optimizing inventory and distribution of product, so that product can sell hopefully at full price, which is every retailer's dream. Sell everything at full price, don't mark it down, make lots of money. So that was my role there.
Am I allowed to ask a question?
Yeah.
Did you find that they were very customer-centric at that point in time, way back when, or that it was more about the profit?
It was more about sell-through and the profit.
Okay.
Yeah, so you're always focused, especially in seasonal categories. So I had a lot of seasonal categories. I had like outerwear, I had like those toddler blanket sleepers and stuff like that. When you think about that, you're thinking, okay, well that's interesting. But when you're thinking about 2,100 stores, and you're thinking about where to, put all of this product at the time, this is before Walmart did the hockey stick curve and passed us. We were selling 500,000 dozen blanket sleepers in a season. So the goal is to sell that at an 80% sell-through. That was always nirvana in retail, still is, and most retailers, by the way, don't accomplish that today. But you take that 500,000 dozen and you want to get an 80% sell-through so that you make a lot of money off of it. So think about 500,000 dozen of these things. They're primarily So in a company like Kmart, you're almost buying the factory in China. You're working with them to put these things together, package them. We had domestic sourcing so that we could do fill-in. Okay, so once you start to deplete the inventory, and not all containers from all boats get to make it to your store. Sometimes they get held up in customs, and you have those issues. So those are percentages of your business that you have to account for. We would have domestic suppliers that could fill in for us at a lower margin. Okay, so when we think about margins managing the business, we were managing a product category such as that at around 45 points, 45% gross margin, which is big in retail. Compared to other lines of business like grocery, which is running around 22%, we were running at 45% on this category. So when you look at a general merchandise retailer like Target, Walmart, Kmart, they're looking at the full breadth of their business to be able to understand